Welcome to the second course in this series about personal growth and entrepreneurial motivation. In the last course, you were able to listen to a lot of advice concerning positivity and maintaining a motivated mindset. In this course, we'll be focusing more on some of the stresses that come with running a business. After all, although being an entrepreneur can be highly rewarding, it doesn't mean that there are no stressful moments that will occur. Inevitably, they will. The idea of paying attention to stress and some of the harm that it can cause is not to put you off entrepreneurship, however. People can and do get just as stressed in their personal lives or working as an employee as they do running their own business. The point is to accept to some extent that stress will occur. Indeed, this sort of mental pressure can often be at its most acute when you're just starting out in business. Therefore, you need to have coping mechanisms. Just as you heard in the last course, no one will be there to help you de-stress as an entrepreneur. It's not like you'll have a boss who advises you to take a week off to come back refreshed because it looks like you're going to burn out in the next few days. Just like motivating yourself, you'll need to work out your own strategies and ways of avoiding stress when it comes along. In this course, you'll learn about why stress and anxiety have their part to play in building a successful business, and how you can overcome the barriers they sometimes put in place. You'll hear more about the typical symptoms of stress and what to do when you're feeling overburdened. We'll cover the major causes of stress and what you can do to remove them so you're better placed to focus on the important things in life, like growing a successful company. Topic: how to deal with stress and anxiety. To begin with, it's worth understanding that stress and feelings of anxiety are normal. They're nature's way of letting us know that something is getting on top of us. If we didn't feel it, then we wouldn't be capable of surviving so well. Everyone experiences it from time to time, both entrepreneurs and people who never even consider running their own business. Facing stress can be tough, especially if you're the sort of person who doesn't always recognize it in themselves. You ought to be kind to yourself. Toughing it out is often the worst way of dealing with stress because you can feel more stressed simply for feeling pressurized. If you're able to accept that stress is a reality, then it'll mean not allowing it to dominate you. Conversely, if you ignore the issue or think that stress is only something that happens to others, then your anxieties may build to a point where you enter a crisis. This may mean not being able to work at all, or at least function at your normal capacity. Therefore, taking time to deal with the stress you feel is not only good for your health, but your business too, since it'll help protect it from such a crisis. Bear in mind, too, that stress is not all bad. The hormones that are released in the brain that make us feel stressed are there to make us more alert, to push harder and to succeed in what we're doing. In business, you may be faced with a tough deadline that places you under stress. Although this might be tricky at the time, it should be motivational, allowing you to complete the job on time and then move on to some new opportunity. As a motivational tool, stress should not be underestimated. It's why entrepreneurs set ambitious business targets for themselves, after all. It's when stress begins to get too much that it becomes a problem. Too many targets, too many deadlines, or too many demands on an entrepreneur's time will inevitably lead to greater levels of stress hormones, more anxiety, and ultimately an intensification of tension. So, just like setting targets that are both motivating and realistic, you should never overburden yourself with too many stressful things, certainly not at the same time. If you want to avoid burnout, then detecting when stress is rising beyond a tolerable limit will be essential. Of course, everyone is different in this regard, so some self-examination will be required. This is all part of the personal growth that's needed to be a successful entrepreneur who's not at the mercy of stress situations, but master of them. Listen for more guidance on how to know when stress is pushing you into an anxious state and how to avoid it in the first place. Anything from mental exercises to letting off steam or even taking a break can help. Next, however, we'll cover the ways to recognize stress in yourself.